Do you all feel that your experiences, both inside and outside of the show, gave you a little bit of a preview as to the result of the 2024 election, or were you surprised in the way that a lot of people seem to have been surprised?
I was bamboozled. I mean, listen, I read everything. Actually, if I wasn't in design, I would have 100% gone into politics. I live for politics. I love it. I was definitely surprised, and I was actually quite ashamed of myself that I didn't have a better grasp on what was going on and what was fundamentally important to people, and it was starkly different than what I had anticipated. I can't believe I'm quoting Karamo, but he said something that I think was super profound a couple of days ago, which is it's going to be really tricky for us to find a way, because there's a lot of people grieving and then there's a lot of people celebrating, and that's just true. That's where we're at, and I think what I love about the show, and especially where we're at now politically and socially, is it's about that space between, and not about right or left. It's about finding common ground and remembering to talk to one another. And shows like this give people the opportunity to sit in their living room in the safety of their own space and to see somebody's story and hopefully connect to just one nuance of what they're going through. Just one thing that you see in Jenye, just one thing that you see in their stories that you go, oh, they're a human being. Like that could happen to me. And that is what I think the Trojan horse is of this show and this experience. And that is what, for me, is particularly thrilling at this moment to be a part of it. Because it's gonna be a tough 4 years for any marginalized community or any marginalized person in this country. And we just have to remind each other to listen to one another.
I come from multiple marginalized groups. I was not shocked at all by what happened. I wasn't shocked the first time when everyone was umming and ahhing, do you think he'll win? I said very clearly to my husband, I've never wanted to be more wrong in my life, but he's gonna win. Oh. And when he started running again, everyone thinking they could fight it. I think as a foreigner we have I'm also an American citizen now, but I think as a foreigner, I see it with slightly fresher eyes. I'm shocked at the shock in everybody. I'm so proud to be an American, and I think I'm more patriotic than most Americans, even though I'm told that I can't be a patriot. I'm like, no, I'm the ultimate patriot. I fought for a long time to live in this country, a heck of a long time. And most people here just had the luxury of being born here. You don't have to fight for anything to get here. But I see it through a different lens than most, I think. And this was inevitable. This is the America I know.
I have done a lot of work on therapy in the last year. And the election kept coming up for me. I've always been very vocal in politics, and I didn't know if we would win or lose. I was really worried about, because 2016, I felt that Trump was going to win, and then 2020, I was like, oh, I think he's going to win again. But then when we won, I was like, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not a very good predictor. And so then this year, I really just didn't know. I thought it would be close. I didn't think we would lose every battleground state. That was really, I think, tough to take, really disappointing. But as Tan said, not shocked, more of just disappointed, trying to find a way forward. Although I do gotta say, Tammy Baldwin, first out lesbian member of the Senate ever, won re-election, I think, for the third time in a row. I had the honor of interviewing her years ago. She's incredible. But it's that's middle of America. Alyssa Slotkin, she won in Michigan. Jackie Rosen got reelected in Nevada. We broke the supermajority in North Carolina's state legislator. So it's so much did happen that was really good, and which is hard to say, but it is true. Also, I have so much respect for Vice President Harris, and I think going through what she went through and coming up with the campaign that she did is incredible. But my friend Alok said this to me, and this always rings in my ears, and I think that this has been so true in my entire lifetime. And after having been the subject and the scapegoat of why we lost this election, several times from so many people, ranging from former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, to, that commercial was pinpointed as a reason why we lost. And I think ultimately the reason why we lost, and we will always lose, is when Democrats run away from their base and Republicans run towards their base, that will depress turnout every single time. And so until Democrats stop trying to act like Republicans, we are not going to win elections. And if you look at Democrats that did win their elections, they did not run away from their base. And actually, President Biden in 2020 ran an incredibly progressive campaign.
Yeah.
I love Vice President Harris. I wish she would have won. I think she would have been an incredible president. But I think Democrats really, if you want to look at it at the brass tacks, you cannot ignore your base and run away from them and think that they're going to win because there are not secret Democrat voters.
You mentioned a couple things there that I want to hit on and unpack a little bit more. The first being that it's not only the presidential that matters, right? Especially for the LGBT community. We are used to having our rights decided by courts and legislatures and being sort of a political football. And a lot of these other offices really matter for the actual lived experience of millions of LGBTQ people. I'm curious what you all are hearing from your LGBTQ fans about the election and in this moment where you are such visible ambassadors for the community, right? And people are looking to you as leaders. I'm curious what you're hearing from them and what your message to them has been since the election as people are kind of feeling afraid.
I'm not hearing anything other than fear.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that are scared about what to expect. And I think, you know, I am the eternal optimist, and I really do believe fundamentally in people. I think it's not always the easiest road, but I do. Like, I think about Clyde, you know, and that experience of like the day one versus the end of that week. And I felt like there was a softness and an openness and a vulnerability that he gave. And I really believe in people. And I think it's going to be a lot of work. And so I think my commitment is to just keep showing up and showing people and having conversations and having the tough conversations and still showing up, because what's their alternative? You know, to get quiet. That's the opposite of what we need to be doing. But people are fucking scared. Yeah.
I'm very good at preparing for the ultimate worst. It's kind of my forte, and I try to do that, but I think it was definitely, I think it's what you all were saying to some extent. I wasn't shocked, but I was just like really disappointed and really bummed. Like, it just made me blue. I'll say it, like, I'm not an extremely political person. I know that I probably should be. I practice my visibility in my own way as being a member of the LGBTQIA plus community. But what does happen whenever I feel like my rights are on the verge of being taken away, that's when suddenly I start paying a lot more attention and I start educating myself more. And that's what I did the first time that Trump got elected, and being more involved and reading more. And I'm just looking forward to that, and I hope that others are too.